Morning, everyone. I am Amy Firestein, and I shared leadership of today's service with the Reverend Kathy Ellis, the Royal Kazoo Band, and the UCH players. We welcome you to celebrate in the transformative power of religious community. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whomever you love, whatever you do for a living, you are welcome at the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. We invite you to join us for coffee hour following this morning's service, either downstairs or on Zoom. Online or in person, we're glad you're here for this multi-generational story Sunday. The children will remain with us for the entire service because it is a fully woven, this service is woven around an actual story with some very interesting characters.
My mic was not on, and now it's very loud. In Unitarian Universalist congregations, we light a chalice to celebrate our coming together in community, to mark the sacred space and time of our community. We light our flaming chalice this morning to illuminate the world we seek. In the search for truth, may we be just. In the search for justice, may we be loving. And in loving, may we find peace. Will you rise in body or spirit and join our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. For our story. Once, there was a royal kingdom far away in a land with no rush hour traffic, no cell phones, no texts, no emails, not even any TikTok. The kingdom was ruled by a king and a queen who enjoyed their work, but felt overwhelmed by the demands of running a sizable kingdom. They consulted with a travel agent who got them a great deal on a 2-week all-inclusive vacation to Dragonland. The king and queen packed their bags and called their subjects for a royal proclamation.
Hear ye, the king and I are going on vacation to frolic and make merry. While we are away, our relative, the Grand Vizier Kim, will rule the kingdom. We'll try to send a postcard. Oops. See you in 2 weeks.
With that, the king and queen climbed into their coach and pulled away. Immediately, the Grand Vizier Kim strode out onto the castle balcony.
Hear ye, hear ye. I have a decree to issue.
The Grand Vizier is a slow thinker.
My decree is that everyone shall return tomorrow to hear my next decree.
That's the silliest decree I've ever heard. Don't they know how silly they sound?
That's Beatrice, a girl who lives in the kingdom.
Be easy on the Grand Vizier, Beatrice. They are new at this and probably just couldn't think of anything to say.
That's Emmy Lou, Beatrice's mom.
Well, why don't they decree something useful, like banning cell phones from ringing during church services?
Some people do strange things to make themselves feel important. Maybe the Grand Vizier will relax into things soon, and the king and queen will be home from Dragonland before you know it. How much trouble can the Vizier stir up between now and then?
That's Sally, Beatrice's mom.
Well, I can't wait to see what their decree will be tomorrow.
The entire kingdom was as curious as Beatrice about the Grand Vizier's decree. The next day, everyone in the royal kingdom returned to the royal balcony as decreed. Some of them gathered out of obedience, some gathered out of curiosity about what the Grand Vizier would decree, and the rest of them gathered because they heard a rumor there'd be free coffee at the castle. That last group was disappointed. There was no free coffee. The people all listened expectantly as the Grand Vizier strutted out onto the balcony and puffed up their chest.
Hear ye, hear ye. I proclaim that too many jelly beans are being eaten. We could have a jelly bean shortage if we're not careful. Henceforth, no one shall eat jelly beans without royal permission. I also proclaim that you shall not request royal permission to eat jelly beans, as no one is getting permission to do so.
Everyone looked at each other bewildered. The king and queen, who were currently happily frolicking at Dragonland, never made such silly proclamation. Could the vizier possibly be serious?
Come on, Vizier, we know you're just kidding.
Silence! I am very serious. Anyone found eating jelly beans shall be beheaded. You shall all return in 1 week for my next proclamation.
No one chuckled now. Everyone returned silently to their homes. Many shook their heads in dismay, but no one ate a single jelly bean. When the not-so-Grand Vizier Kim outlawed jelly beans, it was a hard week in the kingdom. People had to turn to chocolate to satisfy their cravings for sweets. But they managed to get by without jelly beans, somehow. 1 week later, as threatened, as promised, the Grand Vizier stepped out onto the balcony again to issue their next decree to the growing crowd, who wondered, would the next decree be as far-fetched?
Hear ye, hear ye. Today I proclaim that too many children are being impertinent to their parents. I believe that children have become sassy and disrespectful because of the books that they read. I've taken it upon myself to compile a short list of books that are acceptable for children to read. And I have instructed the royal libraries to lock up all of the unapproved books. Therefore, henceforth, no children shall be allowed to read any books that have not received the royal seal of approval. All who disobey me shall lose their heads.
They're nuts!
I'm afraid that doesn't matter, sweetie. Until the king and queen come back from Dragonland, the Grand Vizier's word is the law.
For now, we should go home and gather up our books to send to the castle for royal approval.
But Mom, what am I supposed to do without my books?
Some leaders rule by fear, using their authority to exert power over people. As Unitarian Universalists, we are guided by love. We're guided by trusting one another to use power respectfully and to share it with others, to be mutual. We are guided by our desire to serve the common good. And so each week in our worship service, we invite love to guide us and service to inspire us. We encourage and empower one another. We build our community by sharing our great joys and heavy sorrows, by sharing our prayers. And we do that by taking a stone. Amy will hold, well, the queen will hold the stones at the back of the sanctuary. And you can take a stone, going down the side aisles, up the center aisle, and put your joy, your sorrow, your prayers and concerns into that stone, and put it in the bowl of water, which represents our community holding one another. It's raining again. Mary shares that she's upset that they found a lump on her thyroid and have to have it biopsied. Bart and Kate share that we should keep Aaron Cooper in our hearts and prayers as he's having surgery in Philadelphia this month. Bridget shares for her concern for her uncle who's experiencing mental illness and become homeless. And Karen Sykes says, after reconnecting recently with cousins that are only an hour away, we were invited to their reunion and told never to forget that we are part of the family too. And may we never forget that we are part of this family. And I place a stone for all that's on our hearts and minds, and invite you to join me for a moment of prayer. Spirit of life and love, our service this morning celebrates actually seeking justice and freedom. We are living in this United States of America at a time that's a frightening time in many ways, when it seems like freedoms are being taken away, when a mass shooting seems to happen daily. I pray that you give us strength and courage and hope, and may we know that our love in this community and out in the world makes a difference. We reinforce each other's love, and we are held in love. And so may it be. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Along with Dan, there's more love somewhere.
Let's sing. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy
As you recall, the citizens of the royal kingdom were beginning to feel upset because the Grand Vizier had outlawed jelly beans, and as it turned out, all of the most interesting books. A couple of days later, they issued more decrees, worse and more heavy-handed than the others. As always, the Vizier puffed up and strutted out onto the castle balcony.
Hear ye, hear ye. Today, I proclaim that too many children are being impertinent to their parents. Oh, crud. Hear ye, hear ye. That was my last decree. I'm sorry, everyone. Hear ye, hear ye. As you know, I am special and important. Therefore, my pronouns are they, them, and theirs. These are my pronouns. No one else may use them on pain of exile from the kingdom. You may use the pronoun assigned to you at birth. He or she, you may not use they, and you must use the bathroom marked his or hers, no exceptions. And today I also have a second proclamation. Since I grew up with just one mother and one father, and I turned out so well, I proclaim that this arrangement will work best for everyone. In 1 week, any children who have too many mothers or fathers will be thrown into the dungeon.
It wasn't that bad to give up jelly beans, and it was sort of bad to give up my favorite books, but I won't give up on you. I won't. I have 2 mothers, and you're my mom's, and I turned out great. They can't throw me in the dungeon.
I'm afraid he can, technically, but we'll never let them take you away.
Never. We'd run away to another kingdom first.
We should have gone to Dragonland ourselves, eh?
Come back next week for another royal decree. And don't forget about the jelly beans.
Throughout the village, everyone shook their heads in shock, murmuring about the lengths to which the Grand Vizier Kim had taken their power. While the vizier squirreled themselves away in their aunt and uncle's castle, studying important papers and composing their next decree, they seemed oblivious to the people's distress. They certainly were oblivious to the people's planning. The Grand Vizier didn't know, for example, that later that evening, after dinner, Beatrice had an emergency meeting with her friend Candace. Like others in the kingdom, they felt indignant about the Grand Vizier's most recent decrees. Stirred into reflection and action, Beatrice and Candace made a list.
Well, there's Daniel, and he has 2 dads, but that's 1 dad too many according to Grand Vizier Dweeb.
Don't forget about Anastasia. She lives with her grandparents.
And what about Ezra? He has just 1 mom and no dads. The dweeb will take him away too.
We love all these people. We definitely have to do something to protect them.
Soon, Candace and Beatrice had listed several other kids who did not have the right parents, according to Grand Vizier Kim, and who were in danger of being taken away from their parents. They were determined not to let their friends face this danger. The next day, all the children met secretly in the woods with Candace and Beatrice. Beatrice told them her plan. As the children of the kingdom meet to create their plan, we remember people all over the world who are denied freedom and human rights. We remember Texas. We remember countries where justice and freedom are threatened. Let us sing. Let us rise in body and spirit and sing 159, This Is My Song.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for land afar and mine.
The following day, the Grand Vizier again strutted out onto the balcony, eager to make their next proclamation. The people gathered below, ready to meet the royal decree with their plan, code-named Rebellious Resistance to Royal Wrong-Headed Self-Righteousness. Rebellious resistance to royal wrong-headed self-righteousness.
Hear ye, hear ye. It has come to my attention that someone found a jelly bean under their sofa cushion and ate it. The jelly bean, that is, not the sofa cushion. You're in big trouble as soon as I find out who you are. It has also come to my attention that there is an unauthorized book circulating among the kingdom. I remind you that you will be very sorry if you are caught reading Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman.
People of the kingdom even more determined to carry out their plan of rebellion.
However, what troubles me most supremely is that a number of families in this royal kingdom are defying my proclamation that families must have one mother and one father. Some of you children out there have two mothers, and one of you has a grandmother instead of two parents. And so on and so forth. Later this afternoon, my royal guards will seek out you children who are in such a danger and put you in the dungeon.
Suddenly, the Grand Vizier heard voices rising from the crowd below.
Hear ye, hear ye. Henceforth I proclaim that all pet goldfish must be potty trained.
Hear ye, hear ye. I am very smart, and I believe it's because I eat my favorite sandwich every day for lunch, fried onion and grape jelly. I hereby decree that everyone must eat grape jelly and fried onion sandwiches at every meal.
Hear ye. When I was 2 years old, I swallowed a grasshopper. And look how well I turned out. So I henceforth decree that every 2-year-old must swallow a grasshopper.
Hear ye. I proclaim that dogs are not allowed to burp.
As these proclamations rained down on them, the Vizier began to cringe. A look of uncertainty crossed their face. Grand Vizier held up their hand, but they were speechless. The silly proclamations continued. Have you got any silly proclamations? Oh.
All cats must behave themselves? Yay!
All dogs must not bark at neighbors.
That's a good idea.
All green cars, little toy cars, have to take a bath every day.
All student loans must be forgiven.
I proclaim that this is the best royal kingdom ever. I proclaim that when the king and queen return from Dragonland, they're going to be very proud of their people. And I proclaim that we must pause our story to receive this morning's offerings. You know, these royal subjects may be having fun with the Grand Vizier's proclamations, but they're doing more than that. They're creatively standing up to the unjust decrees and they're ruling by fear. It wouldn't have been easy for just one person to do that. The more we join together, the more our power counts. Let's remember that when we pool our creativity, we can overcome obstacles. And when we pool our energy, we can make great things happen. And when we pool our resources and share our gifts, we support this community as well as Unitarian Universalism.
Hello, my loyal subjects. While I am sure you are in wonderful hands with the Grand Vizier, His Majesty and I decided we didn't want to burden the Grand Vizier with all of our duties. So we borrowed a dragon to fly back for a few minutes so that we could handle the weekly collection. As you know, each month we share half of our collection with a local nonprofit organization. For the month of July, we are sharing with the Church World Service, CWS, of Harrisburg. CWS Harrisburg helps refugees resettle, form long-lasting relationships in our community, and maintain their own basic needs in this sustainable lifestyle. If you wish to contribute online, visit uchbg.org for options. Your financial support and commitment matter. Please consider giving what you are able. Thank you all for these wonderful donations. His Majesty and I need to get back on the dragon before he burns down the village.
Potty-trained goldfish, fried onion and grape jelly sandwiches, 2-year-olds swallowing grasshoppers. The silly proclamations continued, and soon every person in the kingdom was giggling or juggling. They laughed so hard, their sides hurt, and they still couldn't stop.
I proclaim that giggling is against the law.
Everyone roared with laughter except for Grand Vizier Kim.
Guards, arrest everyone who is laughing.
Off with their heads, off with their noses. Send them to bed without any toasters.
Into the dungeon without any grasshoppers.
Was too much for the Grand Vizier. They had never felt so humiliated. They strode off the balcony, down the castle stairs, and into the coach. Grand Vizier rode out of the kingdom as fast as they could and was never seen or heard from again, except in the annual holiday card they sent to the king and queen. And just in case you're wondering, that evening, everyone ate jelly beans for dinner. And except for a few stomach aches that night, they all lived happily after. And thanks to our UCH play. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I want to underline a couple of things from our play. They're pretty obvious, but nevertheless. Then the people, starting with the kids, decided that they needed to do things. The first thing they did was think, the reflection, before they took action. And then the primary action they used in this play was actually to use laughter. The strength of laughter we talked about a few weeks ago. Think before you act. And don't forget about laughter. So we extinguish our chalice this morning early. We extinguish the light of our chalice, but not our own lights. May we be reminded to do what we can do, and to know that our small acts build upon each other to bring more justice, more peace, and more love to our world. So may it be. And will you rise in body and spirit and sing a closing hymn? One more step. It is 168 in the hymnal, but I think we have the words.
One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step, one more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word, one more prayer. We will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer, one more song. We will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Thank you. Can we have the cast take a bow? And the kazoo band. Thank you. Go in peace. Return and bring your love with you.